Hello. In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about how this course works. So the first thing I have to tell you is what I tell you in this video could change, right? We're dealing with a difficult situation with COVID-19. We have to be flexible. We have to be willing to adapt. So as your professor, I want to be able to give you some structure because I know it can be kind of like, what am I supposed to do? How does this class going to work? This is especially true if you're a freshman and you're just starting college. So it's important for me to try and give you some sort of structure, some sort of idea of what's going to be going on come fall. But at the same time, I just have to stress that, what I tell you in this video might change later. So the current situation, right? Like I said just moments ago, we're in a complex situation, an always changing situation. And so we have to be able to adapt to it. Here's the situation in particular that we faced. So we have to accommodate students and professors who may fall ill or have to quarantine, right? So I might be teaching a class, and then I might be around a student who later tests positive for COVID-19, and they may say, well, you had so much contact, you need to self-quarantine now, so I won't be able to go to school. I won't be able to be in the classroom to teach you. So I have to figure out what I do in that case. Or you might have to self-quarantine, right? Your roommate may test positive, like, okay, you have to quarantine now. Well, how are you supposed to stay up with the class, right? We have to figure out how to deal with that situation. At the same time, we want to provide students with as normal a college education as possible. University is an important time in people's lives. You can learn a lot, but the fact is a lot of the learning isn't simply the stuff that you are, you're kind of putting in your heads from professors' lectures and things like that. There's a lot of other stuff that are part of the educational process, and we want to allow you to safely engage in much of that as possible. So to put it another way, we don't want to just say, okay, everything's online if we can help it, right? The idea is that, we'd like face-to-face interaction is an important part of college, and we want to try and get that as much as possible. So face-to-face instruction is central. It's very important. We want to try and preserve as much of that as we can while keeping people reasonably safe. But at the same time, you might be someone who has a family member who is immunocompromised, right? For example, I had a student whose mother had cancer and she had to take drugs to help fight the cancer that made her immune system very weak. So someone like that, if they get COVID-19, it could be a death sentence, literally. So that student needs to be very, very careful to make sure that she doesn't catch it. And that's one thing that makes the situation so complex. I have a relative who had caught COVID-19 and was completely asymptomatic, no problems whatsoever, felt fine. I had a friend who, very healthy person, though an asthmatic, but he was very healthy other than that, jogger, and he got it and had to go into intensive care at the hospital, right? He's in the ICU. And his wife got it and also got very sick, but she didn't have to be hospitalized. So it's a really weird disease because some people it just doesn't harm at all, and other people it can kill. So it's a really difficult situation. So we also have to make it so students can observe or participate in the course live from outside the classroom. We're being encouraged to do that. I can't promise that I'll be able to do that, but I'm going to do my best to. But the idea is that you may wake up and you may feel kind of sick, or you may just say, you know what, I don't want to be exposed today to any possibility. So the idea is that hopefully there's some way that you can connect online while the course is going on and you could participate. Lander is working on making that capability. At this moment, I don't think it's in every classroom, and they're still kind of working out exactly how it will work. But our hope is that it will be possible for students to observe and participate in a course live from outside the classroom. And also what happens if you are sick, right? What if you get COVID-19 or just any illness and you literally are sick and you can't go to class and you don't even feel well enough to come in virtually? So we have to have a way that you can catch up easily if you can't come to class, right? So it's a very complex situation in a sense. What professors are being asked to do, and I think is reasonable what we're being asked to do, but it is complex, is we're being asked to make it so students can have face-to-face instruction if they want it, and it's safe for them to do so. we're being asked to make it so students can at the same time participate at the same time, synchronous learning. And we're also being asked to make it so students who can't come can still continue in the class. So here's the problem I have, right? Or the problem that can come from this. If I were just to say, okay, this is fine, I'm not going to take attendance, come to class if you can. If you can't, you can just Skype, or you can just connect virtually, or you can catch up later. The problem is, if I just say like that, I'm really worried that people will just sincerely say, yeah, I'll catch up later, and then we'll fall behind, right? That's just how it's nothing against students, it's how human beings are, right? If there's no structure, if there's no kind of way of checking to make sure people are participating, people won't participate, or at least less people will participate. So basically, in this class, there will be a participation grade. So it's not so much that I'll simply be taking attendance. But there is a participation grade. I can't tell you about the points yet. I'll make a syllabus video when we get closer to classes starting. I just can't do it now because the situation could change. But there will be a participation grade. And the way that you can get points for this grade is either A, attend class, B, attend class, or I'm sorry, A, attend class virtual. Let me start over. A, attend class in person, B, attend class virtually, or complete a short assignment that goes over the same material if you're not able to come to class. So in these three ways, you can participate. In this way, I can make sure that people are staying up with the course, that they're doing work, that they're staying engaged. And the idea here is that you're not punished, you're not suffering if you can't come to class, right? If you can't come to class, that's fine. Here's this other assignment, short assignment, will not take you any longer than coming to class, that you can do. And in that way, we can make sure that students have flexibility, right? You can come to face-to-face, but then if you get sick or feel sick or are worried, you don't have to be sick. You could just be like, I'm just concerned. I'm anxious. I don't feel like coming today. That's fine. Then you can attend virtually or complete the assignment. Those are ways you can deal with it. And we can still keep everyone as safe as we can while still making sure people can keep up with the material. Now, how I will deal with it. So in person, it's important. At the moment, Lander is requiring masks. So I will be expecting people to wear masks. You should also be social distancing. Don't sit next to anyone in class. They're keeping the numbers small so that we can do that. This is all required. So it's absolutely necessary. So like I said, for some people, COVID-19 can be very dangerous. I include this picture. My children live with us, as well as my wife. She's not in this picture, but our children live with us. We want to make sure that they're safe, but also my parents live with us. My parents are in their 70s. My mother has a heart condition, so they are very high risk. So I take these issues very seriously. We want to make sure that we stay as safe as possible because, I don't want my parents to get sick. So what will happen then, in terms of the face-to-face aspect, the class will be divided in two parts. Basically, there'll be Group A and Group B. Right. So when you registered for this class, like at the time I'm making this recording, there's like 40 seats. So what's going to happen is only half the people will come one day and half will come the other day. Right. So Group A will come on Mondays. Group B will come on Wednesdays. If you are coming face to face. Right. So like I said, there's three ways that you can participate in this class and get your participation points. Completing an assignment, watching, logging in virtually, or coming to class. Now, we need to keep the numbers low when people come to class. So that's why I'm dividing the class into two parts, Group A and Group B. Group A will come on Mondays, Group B will come on Wednesdays, right? So if you look in this class in the catalog, it'll say online hybrid Monday, Wednesday meeting. But you're not going to come Monday and Wednesday. You're going to come Monday or Wednesday. But I want to stress, I divide you into two parts. So you can't just say each week, well, I'm going to come Monday this week, but I'm going to come Wednesday next week. No. We can't do that because what will happen is then we may have a whole bunch of people coming to one section. And then that will defeat the whole purpose of trying to maintain small groups, small numbers in the classroom, right? So you're going to be assigned either Monday or Wednesday, right? So I will, later on, I'm going to assign you to either come on Monday or to come on Wednesday. Now, if you contact me by August 9th, if you have a preference on whether you want to be on Monday or Wednesday, I'll do my best to meet your preference. I can't promise it, right? I can't promise it. But if you were like, all my classes are on, all my other classes are on Monday, and I commute, so I don't want to have to come back to Lander again on Wednesday. I would much rather be on Monday. Email me and tell me that. Do please make it clear which class you're in, though. Tell me, I'm in the 9 a.m. class or I'm in the 10 a.m. class. But the key thing is, in order to get credit, you have to show up to the section and day you're assigned. But there is some flexibility in assigning. I can't promise it because I don't know what people will do. I don't know if everyone's going to say, I want to be on Monday. Everyone may say, I'll be on Wednesday. We can't do that. But if you contact me by August 9th, if you have a preference, on Monday or Wednesday, I will do my best to meet your preference. But like I said, please do make it clear which you're in. Are you in the Monday section? Or I'm sorry, are you in the 9 a.m. section or the 10 a.m. section? When we do meet in person, the class meeting will be focused on review and discussion that will build on online videos. So I'll talk a little bit more about those videos later. But we'll have a class meeting that will be focused on us talking about what you learned in the videos and then discussion that builds on them. That material can also be included on the exams. Right? That material can also be included on the exams. Every week, there will be a study guide that will be due based on information gained from the online videos. Now, the thing is, by the time you watch this video, the course should be open. So if you go into MyLander and log in and go to Blackboard, you should be able to see this course. And if you go into the course, you'll see something like this. Right? You'll see folders, and they each have a due date. Right? They each have a due date. Now, if you click on this one's not going to be ready yet because it's going to include the syllabus video, and I can't make the syllabus video until we're closer to classes actually beginning. So I wouldn't necessarily worry too much about this one. But it's a good idea to go ahead and start doing, I think, this one and this one if you can. Right? I've got to put this stuff online anyway, so I might as well put it online early. And people who want to start taking the class now, go right on ahead. If you want to start watching videos and filling out the assignments, that's great. An hour you spend now doing that is an hour you don't have to spend later in the fall when there's a good chance you'll be busier. So if you go into Blackboard, this is what you're going to kind of see. And I want to go a little bit through this because, like I said, you can start now if you want to. So if you were to click on this link due by Sunday, August 23rd, you would see this, right? So Study Guide 1, Cave Art, What Makes People Different, What Makes Human Beings Different, Part 1. So this is your assignment. This is what you will fill out. This is how I can make sure people watch the videos. It's also an easy way to get points. But basically what you would do is you would click here. And if you do that, that will open up a Word document. Right? That will open up a Word document. And in it, it has questions. And notice it'll say here, answer the following questions based on what makes humans different, part 1. Notice there is this file that says what makes people different, what makes humans different, part 1. So if you click on this, it's a PowerPoint file. So I give you the PowerPoints that I'm going to be going over, much like what I'm kind of doing here. And then, so you can save this if you want. You can open it up however you want to do it. You don't even have to use them if you don't want to, but this way you don't have to write down everything on the PowerPoint. And then you would click on this, what makes human beings different, part 1, and that would play the video, and you would answer the questions based on the video. Likewise, you can see what makes human beings different, part 2. And there's that there. And if you were to scroll down, there would be those questions. But the idea is it's meant to be very clear. Study guide's on top. You click here to get the study guide. You watch these things. You answer the questions. You type them out. You save it. And then once you've completed all the questions, you would click this, and that will allow you to upload your paper. Do please make sure, and I'll talk more about this in syllabus, but I'll mention it here in case you want to get started. Don't use Pages or some format like that. It needs to be Doc or DocX, otherwise Blackboard can't read it, and I can't grade assignments I can't read. I do not accept emailed study guides. They need to be uploaded in Blackboard. And I'll put up a video later about how to do that. But it's pretty simple. Like I said, you just click this link and follow the instructions. Now, a couple things I want to point out. You'll notice here that it says optional. So sometimes I'll put up a video that you don't have to watch. It's just there if you want a little bit more background information or something like that. Most people probably will choose not to watch them, but some people I know are going to be really interested in history or they want extra material to review. That's why this is optional. You'll notice there's numbers here. So like I said, this is the PowerPoint. And in the videos, I talk through the PowerPoint. And sometimes I have other video clips. The numbers here is approximately how many minutes the video takes, right? That's approximately how many minutes the video takes. So this takes 17 minutes, this takes 9. The reason I do that is you may be saying, okay, I'm going to have lunch at noon. It's 11:30. Okay, I watched this video. It's 11:50. Do I have time to watch another video? Yeah, it's only 9 minutes long, but I don't have time to watch this one. It's just to make things a little bit easier. But that should explain how that works. So just to give you a sense, and the schedule could change, but like I said, people will be assigned to a group, and the schedule you can find on Blackboard. I will give out printed copies in class, but if you want to print one out now, that's fine. Probably not necessary, and like I said, it may change, but you can see, it'll say like week 1, and Monday group A meets. Remember, I will assign you to the group. Wednesday group B meets. Then Thursday is the introduction and syllabus quiz. There's an introduction video that will be up online. The syllabus one will be a while because I need to wait till we're closer. And then it says Sunday, study guide 1 and quiz 1 due by 11:59 p.m. So there'll be a study guide that you fill out. That's this thing that we were working on. And there'll be a quiz based upon it. I won't put up the quizzes yet, but the study guides will be up. And you can see that's pretty much the pattern we have. Typically it's on a Sunday. Week 3 leads into Labor Day in week 4, so I delay the assignment because it gets really confusing otherwise. But that's basically how the course will work, right? I try and make everything very clear about what is due when. So a few principles of how this course is designed. Basically, it's meant to approximate an in-person version of the class in the terms of the amount of work that's expected each week. So normally a class, you know how sometimes they'll say a class is 3 credits or 3 hours. That means it meets 3 hours a week. Now, I say hours in quotation marks because an hour is actually 50 minutes. So basically, there will be approximately 2 hours, that is 100 minutes of online lecture a week. Sometimes it'll be more, sometimes it'll be less, but about that much per week. And that's so that makes 2 hours. And then we'll have our 1 hour meeting in the face-to-face version. But like I said, you can come face-to-face. Hopefully, you'll be able to participate virtually, or you can complete the assignment using connected to what we went over in class, and that would also count towards fulfilling that participation requirement. But that's how we get our 3 hours. Your homework is filling out the study guides. Now, you could fill them out while you listen to the lecture, but sometimes students get a little confused and they'll say, well, it's only supposed to be 2 hours long, but after I kept pausing the videos to fill out my study guides and it took a lot longer than 2 hours. Well, yeah, because that was your homework, right? So it's 2 hours of lecture, and then you would have your homework and, of course, studying on top of that. Now, I try and be very clear about what I want students to know. I don't think it's fair to try and trick students. If I talk about something a lot, there's a good chance that that will be on the test. If I don't talk about it so much, it probably won't be on the test. But a person, a colleague of mine who I very much admire taught me this lesson: teach what you test and test what you teach. And by that, he doesn't mean that you should just tell students the answers. What he means is it's not fair to students to give them a bunch of information that you're not going to talk about in a test, right? Of course, you can't get everything in a test, but the idea is that you want to make sure that in particular your main ideas are kind of represented, and you don't want to test people on stuff you haven't taught about. So that's basically how I try and do things. So the study guides, like I said, that's the homework. Those are required each week. You're graded on them. Not too strict in grading them, but it's important that you do take them seriously, because when I make the quizzes and the exams, I use the study guides. So you have the online video that has questions connected to it for the study guide assignment. So you fill that out. Then your quizzes and exams will be based on what's on the study guide. So that's important to keep in mind, especially because your quizzes and exams are going to be online, but they'll also be open note. They're timed, and they're not open friend, right? You should do them on your own, but they are open note. So if you spend your time to carefully make those study guides and study them, don't just leave them because it is timed. If you won't be able to have time to teach yourself that during the test. But if you have your note, if you have those study guides, especially if you print them out after you've completed them, and then take your quiz or exam, you should do fine. Like I said, though, it's timed, right? So you want to keep that in mind. You do want to study. If you don't learn the information, you're going to do badly, even if you did okay filling out the study guides. So that's something important to keep in mind, right? And like I said, they're not open friend. You need to do them on your own. And as I said, you'll still need to study, right? You'll still need to study when you do that. So a few more comments. Going to go as quickly as possible. I believe in the value of history. I think history is awesome. I think history is amazing. And I want my students to learn history and the skills necessary to succeed in their chosen career. Those are the two guiding principles for how I teach and how I try and conduct myself as an instructor. I think history is important. I think it's awesome. I want you to learn it. And I want you to learn history and the skills necessary to succeed, right? To do what you want for a living. That means having standards, right? Sometimes students run into difficulty. Sometimes they're like, well, why can't I just email you my paper? Why do you require that's on Blackboard? Well, simple. When you go into a professional work environment and your boss says, I need you to submit documents this way, and you complain about it, you're probably going to not get promoted. You may lose your job if that's your basic attitude, right? You have to have standards. If I don't have standards, if I don't expect certain things and enforce those expectations, it doesn't help you, right? The job market is competitive. If you want to learn to do good work while facing difficulties, if you learn to do good work while facing difficulties, you're more likely to get and keep a good job and be promoted. There's any time in my life where I haven't had something go wrong was a weird time. Usually things go wrong. That's just how things work, right? And it's the ability to work well and do good work when things are going badly that will help you keep your job, right? If you're constantly showing up late for work because you can't control yourself, you got partying or whatever, you're not going to be able to get and keep a good job. So that's why I do things like keep track of tardies and stuff like that. So the key thing here is, in order to help you to get the career you want, we have to have standards. We have to have rules that people are expected. So I need to enforce those. But at the same time, you need to communicate clearly with me if you're having difficulties. So for example, in March, when students were sent home to do online learning, some students did not have access to internet in their homes, or they had very spotty access, and I had to work with those students. If you are in that instance, if something like that happens, if you're a commuting student and you have to quarantine and your home doesn't have good internet, please let me know, and I'll do my best to help you. Right? So please keep that in mind. I have to have standards, because otherwise you won't be learning, otherwise you won't be developing the skills you need to do well in your professional life. But at the same time, when people have real big problems, they need to communicate with me so I can help them deal with them. And key to that is checking email often. Just to put it bluntly, I've had students not get scholarships because they didn't check email. We were emailing a student, for example, about scholarship opportunities. He didn't check email. We weren't able to catch up with him in person, and so he missed out on several $100s. So please check email often. And by that, I mean several times a day, ideally, so they don't pile up. One thing you got to think about, your class may meet at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. I may wake up at 6 a.m. and feel terrible and say, geez, I feel really sick. I better not teach today in person because that might spread COVID. So we'll email everyone and say, look, don't come to class today. We're going to do this online, because that is what I need to do. If you don't check email, you may show up and be like, where is everyone? Why isn't class meeting? Well, we're meeting online. So do make sure to do that. So a little bit long. I apologize for that. This is a complex situation that we're dealing with, but I wanted to give you an idea of what I'm going to be trying to do to help us make sense of it. So good luck, and I look forward to seeing you all in the fall.